Hey, happy Friday. This is Auntie Fee, and I want to talk to y'all about something a little different. I want to talk to y'all about this Burger King guy. Excuse me, maybe I shouldn't say guy. Maybe I should say the Burger King madman. Don't he look mad? You done killed this baby, this teenage girl in Burger King. They catch you, and you have the nerve to be mad. Watch this. I don't want to call him a clown, but watch this menace. Can you put your mask over your mouth and nose? What? Why? What in the world was that? What was that? Did we just see the devil? I'm gonna have to play that back. Was that the devil? The devil made him do it. Did he say we gave you the money? Why?
have a suspect in custody, and he is being charged. I say good news in the context that this is a step towards justice, and while this does not bring Kristal back, it may serve as a measure of comfort to a family that is preparing to bury a child. This case begins in the first hour of Sunday morning. The call comes in at 12:47 a.m. 2 minutes later, officers are on the scene. Responding units begin life-saving efforts. FDNY EMS is on the scene within minutes of the first call. They could not save Kristal Nieves. Immediately, a mobilization was called for additional resources. Precinct units began to canvass the area in search of the suspect using a picture obtained from the security camera. At the same time, detectives were already on the scene and began interviewing the other victims and the few witnesses they had. To say that our detectives started out with not much more than a shadow would be accurate. That is how these cases often begin.
Oh, wow.
As we see over and over again, our detectives are determined and they are relentless. We often hear the term a senseless murder. That is not a cliche in this case. There was no reason to shoot this young woman. Money had been handed over. She was trying to comply with the gunman's demands. She was killed for no apparent reason.
Evil. Just evil.
Let me introduce the Chief of Detectives, James Essig, who will walk you through some of what we can tell you about the investigation and the arrest.
Afternoon, everyone. Mr. Mayor, First Deputy Commissioner Caban, Chief of Department. Today we go through a lot of different emotions. Relief, of course, we caught this guy. A sense of awe and extreme pride in the men and women of the NYPD, especially the Detective Bureau in particular. I'd like to introduce with me people who did the investigation. Detective Brian McGee, Investigative Chief, Captain Brian Scalise, Lieutenant Bill Turgensen of the 25th Precinct Detective Squad, Lieutenant Jimmy Leo, Manhattan North Homicide, And probably the two most important people in the room right now are case detectives Carmelo Santiago from the 2-5 Precinct Detective Squad, and from Manhattan North Homicide, Alex Aguero. You know, these men and their team's dedication, relentless follow-up, and attention to detail, combining with old school detective work with modern technologies, is what solved this case. This was such a horrible, and at 12:47 hours in the morning, a male walked into Burger King at 154 East 116th Street in the borough of Manhattan. He was attired in a ski mask, a black jacket, and what became a very important clue in this investigation.
Okay, so I'm having to slow this down because it's so gruesome and I don't want it to become a YouTube issue. So I'm slowing it down.
In the Burger King, two customers, the man hanging out of his pocket, as seen in this picture. There were 4 people in the Burger King. 2 customers, the manager, and our teenage victim. Our perpetrator brandishes a firearm. He pistol whips the manager and 1 customer, knocking 2 teeth out of the manager's mouth. He then goes to the register where he removes $100, approximately $100.
$100.
Our teenage victim, Miss Kristal Nieves, a 19-year-old female who was working at the time, was behind the counter. The man demands more money from the register drawer. As Ms. Nieves is scrambling to open the drawer, she doesn't have the key. The male fires 1 shot, striking her and causing her death. He flees, picking up the store manager's phone in the process. What we recover on the scene is 1 9mm shell casing and 1 bullet fragment. Detectives then tracked the video to the 116th Street Lexington Avenue train station. We do track the video to the 116th Street Lexington Avenue train station. We do extensive pre and post video surveillance is done at that location. We are able to identify pre-shooting a male with different clothing at this time, but with the same gait, height, and earbuds hanging out of his pants. He also has a backpack on at this time. We track that now person of interest and are able to ID that male. We then are able to confirm that he was a prior employee of that same Burger King.
Wow.
He worked there between April of 2020 and December of 2020. He is ID'd as a Mr. Winston Glynn, male, 30 years old, known to us with 4 prior arrests, a menacing, criminal possession of a weapon, knife, an assault, and a criminal mischief. And he has addresses in Queens and Brooklyn. Through an extensive video canvas in our transit system, we are able to track Mr. Glynn to locations in Brooklyn.
A few crimes in memory have shocked this city like the cold-blooded, absolutely senseless murder of 19-year-old Kristal Nieves on Sunday morning. Who could have committed such a horrific crime? Well, today, police have their answer. A 30-year-old man with a long criminal record was arrested for the murder as a crowd of angry New Yorkers jeered at him.
So this angle, I was able to hear some of what he said, and I am kind of shocked at what he screams out. My goodness. This man is asking for his, he's screaming out, what about his 40? He did not say 40 acres and a mule, but that's, yeah, let him do it. R.I.P. to Kristal. Precious. This is truly senseless.
Winston Glynn was brought out of the 25th precinct in shackles today, whining about how much they hurt and something as he approached the police car about reparations. But outside the 2-5, a crowd had gathered to greet the man accused of one of the most cold-blooded murders in recent history.
You got me! You got me!
It was an angry crowd. They were not there in his support. Winston Glynn is charged now with the Sunday morning murder of 19-year-old Kristal Nieves, who was working the overnight shift of a Burger King in East Harlem.
My condolences to her family, her parents, her friends. I'm speechless.